These are your Nassau Guardian highlights for Wednesday, November 19th, 2025, brought to you by your Daily Bahamas headlines. Please don't forget to like and share our Facebook page, YouTube, and WhatsApp channels. Poll workers say they are afraid after advanced poll turmoil. Parliamentary Registration Department staff are threatening not to work the polling stations for Monday's Golden Isles by-election after what Returning Officer Neil Campbell described as a shocking incident during the advanced poll. Campbell told The Guardian that one of his presiding officers called him early Tuesday morning to say the entire team no longer wishes to work due to fear and intimidation following Monday night's confrontation. The trouble erupted after the advanced poll at Remnant Tabernacle Church, where 249 ballots were cast. Supporters of political parties, particularly the FNM and the Coalition of Independents, surrounded a bus transporting the sealed ballot box, demanding that candidate representatives be allowed on board. Campbell stressed that procedures were followed and that it had been agreed ahead of time that representatives would follow the bus in another vehicle. He said his team honored every request made during the day and believed the process had run smoothly. However, conflicting instructions, miscommunication among party operatives, and tensions between groups sparked fear among officials. Campbell said, "Right now, they're timid and afraid, an entire team." He added that in future elections, all agreements will be signed in writing to avoid disputes or misunderstandings. Party leaders are blaming one another for the escalation. FNM attorney Khalil Parker, KC, said attempts were made to deviate from mutually agreed procedures. Campbell refutes that, saying there were several pre-meetings, but not all parties attended consistently. The by-election is set for Monday, filling the seat left vacant after the passing of former MP Vaughn Miller. This breakdown in cooperation has raised new concerns about election security, worker safety, and political conduct ahead of Monday's vote. Police shoot and kill armed driver after high-speed chase through Kemp Road. Police are searching for 3 men after a high-speed chase and shootout in the Kemp Road area. ShotSpotter alerts led officers to a silver vehicle that opened fire on police. Officers returned fire, killing the driver, a man in his early 30s, while 3 others escaped on foot. Surveillance footage is being reviewed to identify the suspects. Habdashtar Prime Minister meets with Arawak Cay vendors after devastating fire. Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis met with vendors whose stalls burned on Sunday. 6 stalls were destroyed in the massive fire. The Prime Minister said the loss was heartbreaking and promised government support, cleanup assistance, and a guided path toward rebuilding. The area is considered one of the nation's most cherished cultural spaces. Nurse Pearl Williams returns to work after suspension. Veteran nurse Pearl Williams, suspended for posting a viral video exposing conditions at PMH, has returned to work. The Bahamas Nurses Union says the matter will still go before the PHA Disciplinary Committee, but expects nothing adverse to come of it. The suspension had caused national debate over hospital conditions, leaking roofs, rodent issues, and healthcare transparency. Michael Pintard doubles down on bag of passports claim. FNM leader Michael Pintard says he is not retreating from claims that a bag of passports was discovered on a Bahamasair flight headed south. The PLP has demanded he produce evidence or retract the allegation. Pintard insists he has credible information but cannot disclose sources without exposing them. He promises to speak more on the matter at the next FNM rally. American drug smuggler loses court appeal. The Court of Appeal upheld a $20,000 fine imposed on American Tyrell Alsup, caught with 75 pounds of marijuana at LPIA last year. He will serve an additional 6 months if he does not pay the fine. His lawyer argued the fine was harsh, but the court found no error. Habdashtar H.O. Nash Junior High hosts its first ever Mr. and Miss Nash pageant. A historic evening at H.O. Nash saw students compete across multiple categories. Lamar Ferguson and Shyla Smith were crowned Mr. and Miss Nash with a full royal court announced. The event raised funds to improve seating for students and highlighted creativity, leadership, and academic excellence. Tatshark's sex case against bus driver discontinued. A case against 52-year-old Yorick Bevins, accused of unlawful sexual intercourse with a 15-year-old girl in 2019, has been abandoned after a nolle proequi was issued. No reason was provided. International Credit Union delegation visits Grand Bahama. Credit union leaders from the United States and the Caribbean visited Grand Bahama as part of the WFCU Global Bridges Study Tour. The group met with local credit unions to discuss digital transformation, economic conditions, membership growth, and cross-border cooperation. Honderstaster, Waterkeepers Bahamas monitoring Taino Beach Bridge construction. Environmental groups have begun water quality sampling around the temporary causeway being built at Taino Beach. The monitoring will assess potential impacts on marine habitats and sediment levels during construction. Political parties don't run elections. Today's editorial criticizes the behavior of political parties at Monday's advanced poll, calling the disruptions political theater. The piece stresses, the law is clear that presiding officers, not political operatives, control polling stations. Informal agreements between political parties carry no legal weight. Constant accusations of cheating erode public trust. Election disputes should be handled by the courts, not shouting in a parking lot or blocking a bus. The editorial warns that if every delay is framed as cheating, no election result will ever be accepted, a recipe for instability. Two fires, two tragedies. Where is the fairness? A Victoria Court resident writes that the government's support after the fish fry fire far exceeds the help given to families displaced by the Victoria Court fire earlier this year. Many families from Victoria Court remain homeless and without long-term government support. Why the PLP will always do what the PLP does, the scorpion parable. A writer compares the PLP to a scorpion acting according to its nature, arguing that voters consistently mistake charisma for competence. The letter urges systemic safeguards rather than trust in political promises. Haiti. Historic town battles gangs during national celebration. Residents of Arcahai, birthplace of Haiti's flag, are fighting off heavily armed gangs as police struggle to contain violence nationwide. More than 1,200 people were killed across Haiti between July and September. Chile faces its most polarized election in decades. Chile heads to a runoff between right-wing candidate José Antonio Cast and communist nominee Jeanette Jara. Immigrant voters are deeply divided, and concerns over crime dominate the campaign. That concludes your Nassau Guardian News highlights for Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. Stay informed, stay aware. Have a safe and blessed day.